even if you create that many more opportunities, they can still screw you. But again, play better, and it doesn't happen. But you can't always give that as the answer when it's a parity league. Teams are that close.
Parody or parody?
Right.
A bit of both.
It's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. We are the KC Soccer Journal. My name is Cody Bradley. Thad Bell and Robert Russert are here with me. Sunday after Saturday night's home opener, Thad. A rough night. It was a beautiful night for so long. For 95 minutes. It was a beautiful
Very close
night.
to 95 minutes.
That should be a full game.
It should be.
Peter Vermes seemed like that was the full game.
So did a couple players.
So a lot changed last night. We're going to get to the game and all of that, but I want to talk about the atmosphere. They made a concerted effort to change things last night. And the new lights, I feel kind of stupid saying it, but like, oh, they got new lights and new screens, ooh, la-di-da. But they made a difference. That was fun last night.
I know. I saw a lot of people complaining before in the lead up to it, like, oh, what's the difference of lights that's going to make? You know, I want my bathroom better or something. I'm like, everybody complained about the atmosphere. Nobody knows what the atmosphere is in your damn toilet stall. They know what the atmosphere is out in the stadium.
Depends if it's a bidet or not, I guess. But no, Cody, you were very enthusiastic to open this show after, what happened last night. I guess it was the lights and everything that's got you feeling so good.
Yeah, you got to keep the energy up, get people excited. I'm trying to talk about something positive here before we get to the game.
He's in a lighter mood than we expected.
But Cody, you noticed that Thad kind of this morning has that. You always have that one guy in the group when you're hanging out and you're going out on the town. One guy's got that look in his eye of an instigator.
He does.
So we better watch Thad tonight. He's gonna cause some shit.
He's got that glimmer in his eye. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm really not sure what makes today different, man. Probably going to start some kind of crap. Is before the pod, after the pod, during the pod, or all?
We're gonna throw down at some point.
How you doing, Cody? Have we disrupted your pod yet?
No.
Okay, good.
Okay,
This
good
is very
deal.
good. Very amicable.
Yeah, I'm fine, man. I'm in a decent mood. I don't know what y'all are accusing me of.
See, I am bracing a little bit. Every word out of your mouth, I'm like, oh, don't ruin things. No, so last night was good. I do think everything that they could do, everything in their power, the club's power to change things up, to liven things up, they did.
Yeah. I won't say everything they could have done. I don't know what else they could have done, but I think they did a good job of trying to do something different.
All of the conceivable main things. I mean, new music, new lights. They brought fans in to the light show, fan engagement.
They did. We got a couple of those little wristbandy things sitting there at the end of the table that my family got last night.
And when you look back to last year and previous years, the sole responsibility of the quote-unquote atmosphere fell on the shoulders of Hartzell. Like, that was really it. Like, he was it. I didn't really have a problem with Hartzell. I know some people, he wasn't their favorite. But if you had a problem with the atmosphere, it was really just up to Hartzell to make it an atmosphere in the stadium last year. And that's a change that they made.
So are you saying the cauldron is a non-factor at all, or was a non-factor?
Well, that's kind of my point of that the club did everything in their power. The club can't make the cauldron come up with snappier chants or a new chant for the first time in a decade. That's not in their power. But lights, screens, video, music,
Camera action.
and then the other thing that they also did was, I think the "I Believe" chant is being phased out. They did that. At least it was done differently last night.
Yeah, nobody just led one, that at least not that I heard.
Right.
Yeah, it did break out at some point about 5 minutes before the game was actually supposed to start, which was different too. So
see, I
it
didn't
didn't last very long.
I didn't even hear that. What I heard was a couple minutes before kickoff in the pregame hype video, they did a very quick one, and then music played all the way up until the kickoff, and there was I didn't hear it from the press box, a big organized "I Believe" chant. And that is, from a lot of fans, and me in particular, that is one thing that had in recent years had grown
Stale.
painfully. Yes, sure, that's nicer. Painfully stale. I was gonna go with painfully.
Almost eye-rolling. It's like, oh, here we go again. All
yes, it was cringy.
Okay.
And
I'm going to have to do this. I will come out in defense of the "I Believe" chant for at least a slight bit.
you don't have to.
Yeah, I do. I would like to see it come back, but for a big game and led by a club legend or something like that, not just some random YouTuber or whatever. I mean, I know they had a lot led by like Jimmy Nielsen and other players, but I would bring it back for a big game, opening of, an Open Cup final or quarterfinal.
Because we're in the
Is
Open
that
Cup
in our
this year.
rundown? I didn't see that.
No, it is not. We can talk about that in a little bit later. But
You mean I may have plotted to sneak this in? No. Okay, I would like to take credit, but I actually just randomly put that in there.
okay. Oh yeah, you did. Okay, good.
At least I'm honest.
But you still derailed the show with that, so thank you.
But no, I agree. I mean, you guys were in Thad's doing the photo thing. You were in the press box, Cody, but I was out there in the stands, and there was more electricity, if you will. It felt like a bigger event. It's like it was exciting. You have these things in your wrist, and and it really orchestrates well with how good the video abilities, of Sporting's staff has always been. So that all worked together well in concert, and it felt more like an event, and it was exciting. So.
Was it because of the lights? Was it because of the little wristbands? Was it because it was the home opener for to me, every home opener should have an electricity to it because, every team in the first couple games of the year can win the cup. Right.
Yeah.
And many find out a few games into the season that they can't win a cup. And some of them never even get to try. But that's the electricity there. So the lights, I'm not criticizing the lights or the atmosphere or what they did to change that. But I do always feel like that's a little bit of the electricity is like, hey, it's a new beginning. We haven't seen some of our friends for a couple months.
It felt different though. It just felt a little different, which is a good thing.
I like your idea, Thad. They should bring that back. First game of the playoffs this year, led by Beasler, Zusi, and Espinoza.
And how about some others, man? Like
Fellhaber.
Seth Sinovic?
Get Fellhaber out there.
Why are you a Seth Sinovic hater?
I'm not. I love Seth. Get him out there. He's still around. He's still in KC. He didn't go anywhere.
He's still in KC. Maybe they could form like a former player quintet.
Leading that chant is exactly in Zuzi's wheelhouse. That's the kind of stuff he loves to do.
Yeah.
I
always known for
believe
his enthusiasm. Robert, you were at the game? You were there?
Yes, sir.
Your season tickets?
You got it.
Too cool for the press box?
No, girlfriend's in town, so I'm going to be with her. I'm sorry, it's the way it is.
I know. I did lament a little last night. I don't always like writing the recap, but I was writing the recap. I was in the press box. It is a big game. It should be fun. I lamented not being down there. I do always a little bit, depending on who's next to me in the press box. I keep some of my fandom in there, and I'll hum and whistle to songs and say things under my breath. So I was able to get away with it a little bit last night. Chad was next to me. I can do all of that next to him. So,
yeah, I struggle to keep that in sometimes.
Yeah,
but down on the end line, I can usually say stuff and not have anybody hear me.
I absolutely cannot stop my hands in the press box. Something crazy. I play it off and I just put them on the back of my head really quick. I was just stretching really quick. But that's one thing I'm not good at in the press box.
But at least you weren't wearing a jersey or something, right?
No, I was not.
Yes, God forbid we blur that line between fan and media.
Blurred lines.
That should be our slogan, blurring the lines between fans and media.
Next up, we're still talking about lighting.
We're talking about lighting?
Well, that was part of the whole fan experience last night, right? The new lights. It was brighter for photographers a little bit.
Oh.
Nice. I did notice it on television too.
On the corners, they're in the, again, photographers will understand this better, but there was a full light stop of drop previously. Now it was pretty even through the corners. And I was told last night that it was at 10% power. So if they could actually crank that up.
Whoa.
The person that told me this said that they were in there a couple days previous and they had cranked up to 50 and they were all blinded, covering their eyes.
Yeah, that seems crazy.
And
what is the purpose of it going to 100% or 70 or 50%?
I don't know. I was like,
why do we have this capability?
To weaponize your entertainment.
Are they trying to grow the grass with these lights? Are they grow lights?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not, though. They're probably not the right digital mix.
I don't think so.
The light spectrum.
So were you on the end where the goal was scored?
No. I was on the south stand.
Because I thought of you when the lights kind of dimmed shortly thereafter, and it's like, yeah, Thad's probably not happy.
Well, and actually that
might make for cool pictures though.
But what I was told, and it was pretty much came true, was that when Sporting scores, they're going to dim the lights in one half of the stadium, but keep the lights on where the goal was scored to make it easier to get some shots. So if it had happened on my end, I would have been able to get really good shots still. Happening on the other end, I got some shots, but they weren't as good, mostly because there was people in the way. Because I can get shots at the other end, but it's it's not as sharp, not as perfect, but they're usable shots. But yeah, just it was more a problem because of people being in the way. Damn Philly players walking back looking all dejected and shit.
All right, we'll take a break and talk about the game. Plenty to talk about in this match. We've got Vermes audio. Russell had a good answer. We'll get to him as well. But let's talk about something positive. Remy's beautiful curler.
Kind of got lucky that it came to him.
He did. Very fortunate. A sniper got Jose Martinez from the stands, it looked like. I don't really know what happened there, but he was down for a long
Stretched
time.
a little too far. Got uncomfortable.
I kind of like the sniper idea. I know some people who know some people, and we could do that more often if we need to.
Yeah, the play was kind of falling apart. Jake did well to just get a boot on it and get it over there, and I guess did just enough to complete the pass. I can't believe he actually got an assist for that, because I think Martinez touched it, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he did, for sure.
I thought that negates an assist, but maybe not.
Yeah, I thought he did too, but
no, I think Martinez stayed on the ground for that long, hurt ego more than anything.
But, this is not the first time that Remy has scored a goal that showed some finishing ability on his part, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have done it much better than he did it last night. Playoff game, I think it was in St. Louis. Like he scored one of the goals, I think. And he's done things like this before. But what is that celebration he does with his hands? Because he was very, let me do my thing when somebody tried to grab him.
Oh,
what is he doing with his hands?
I don't know.
It's like a double two-handed thing he's doing, showing the camera.
Okay, good. I missed this. I'll have to go back. I haven't rewatched the whole game yet, but
yeah, me either. I will have to go ask him that now.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe it's like gang signs in French.
Right.
Yes, that strikes me that's what the kind of guy Remy is. No, Remy is capable of that kind of play, and the first week in fantasy, I put him on my team. And I was not doing fantasy right at all, by the way. We can talk more about that in a little bit, but
Segment 3.
Can you still get involved?
I had picked. Yeah, no, yeah, you can.
You can. Okay, good.
Yeah.
In fact, it might be better to get involved now. That people can tell you how it works.
And right. And coming from a fantasy football background, I was trying to pick value for a whole season. I wasn't understanding that you can literally just I guess I knew it, but I wasn't understanding you just pick a whole new lineup every single week. So I was like, oh, Remy's such a good value. Like, he's going to score some goals. He's got that in his pocket. And hours before the games yesterday, I took him out because I wanted Johnny in. And you can only have three of one team. So,
and you were complaining about Suarez in his game because you were like,
yeah. Well, we won't get bogged
We'll get
down
the fantasy.
with that. I want to talk about the game, but
yes, for sure.
Yeah, great goal from Remy. Well taken. I hope to see more of that, especially if we get another quiet game from Alan Pulido.
Cody, it wasn't a quiet game. It was not a good game. I started halfway through the game. I was like, okay, Alan Pulido, where chances and passes go to die. Seriously, It was not good.
It was not good.
I'm looking at whoscored.com if you want a statistical support for that. Dispossessed 3 times, most on the team. Bad control twice. Only Tommy, who plays totally different than Alan does, had more bad touches. He plays more of a pacey game than Alan does. So Alan did not have a good night, no matter how you look at it.
Appreciate the stats there, but this is a FOTMob show. So next time I'm going to need you to use FOTMob.
Wait a minute. Are they a sponsor?
No, I just used to work for them.
Well, I know. Used to. I mean, I don't.
I'll hit them up.
I don't.
I'm working on this. They're like number one on
Cody's got connections
on my hit list here for finding a sponsor. So
I will be happy.
Them in early.
I will be happy to promote FOTMob.
I don't know. Everyone says
Can they help
FOTMob.
You with your fantasy team?
I was saying FOTMob, and then while on a meeting with the CEO, he heard me say that and said, "What did you just call it?" It's like 5 guys in Norway is how that app this international app is being run. And he just said, I was like, I don't know, Fot Mob, is that not right? And he was like, oh, you can say Foot Mob.
I wonder if that's a Norwegian way to say foot.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what I was like.
Does it have like double dots over it or a little
umlaut?
No,
it is FOTMOB, no umlaut. None of that stuff.
Kumquats?
All right, now this reminds me. Do we need to talk about Nemanja's last name? Because we talked about last week about how the announcer was saying it different, and then on Media Day, there was a little discussion about how his name is actually pronounced. Is it Radaya? Is that how it's supposed to be? Because that's what Nate was doing.
Radoya.
Radia. Okay.
I think.
And just a reminder, we always do this, and it's funny to me that we do this. Like, oh, how do you say these names? Because there's a SoundCloud of the players themselves saying all of their names. So it's just, that's the joke here to me. If no one, I don't know if you guys get that the same way I do, but that's what's funny to me is that we complain about this, and they literally tell us exactly how to say it.
I get that, man. I've listened to every one of those at least twice, 3 times, 20
still
times.
Doesn't help.
And I am inept at pronouncing languages, man. I can't even speak English some days because I wash my car and shit like that. So I'm like speaking into Duolingo and it's not recognizing me when I'm doing English.
We got a little bit derailed there, Thad, but another quiet game for Pulido?
Yeah, it was mostly not good. I mean, I won't say it was as bad as what Robert was saying, but it was. You're trying to get me to say.
Would you say it's
pusillanimous?
There you go. Yes, I was trying to set you up for that.
Again, watching the game from where I'm at versus watching it from the stands or from TV, I get a different view and I don't see as much of everything going on. And in some ways I see more. I didn't feel he was as pusillanimous as the previous week, but I felt he was still not sharp like he was last year.
Jokes aside, that is correct. Like, we looked up the meaning of that word, and that's not where his faults were last night. Like Robert said, it was bad touches. Normally he's so good at keeping the ball, it's like impossible to take it from him, and he didn't have that last night. First touches weren't there.
He had a few good touches and hold-ups, but otherwise
not the same way we've seen
it. It didn't feel like it was because the previous week he was just not brave. He wasn't taking chances. It was like he wasn't dribbling into traffic and things like that. Last night it wasn't quite as bad, but it wasn't good in the touch perspective. One of the guys sitting next to me on the end line was like turning to me like, is he hurt again? And I'm like, not that I know of. And he goes, well, because he looks like he's running okay, but he sure as hell ain't doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys see last week our old friends from SB Nation still trying to cover MLS after jettisoning all of their MLS coveragers?
Why'd you even mention their name? Couldn't you just said some outlet?
Well, because I'm going to shame them. They wrote an article after week 1 saying that no one really noticed that there were replacement refs, and he got dragged pretty hard. Every single face from around MLS media, O'Shan was on it. Everybody was quote tweeting this. The poor guy. Soon after he posted, I clicked on the author's name, and there was a picture of him and his actual name. And then I looked later on to see if I could go find this guy on Twitter because I couldn't remember his name. And
are you trying to dox this guy?
His picture, no, his picture
was he in a Messi
gone.
jersey too? Oh.
His picture was gone, and it wasn't his username is no longer an actual name. So he got shamed out of existence for that article. But of course, we do notice the refs. We did notice the replacement refs last night. A truly inexplicable call. I understand all of this, guys. You have to defend every single play. You can't stand around there and be mad at the refs. They had a chance to defend and clear the ball. But 95 minutes, that defense did so well. And
94-53.
Well, wasn't this the 96th minute? It was. I thought it was in the 96th minute. But
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Watched it before I came.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it
So
was-
they defended perfectly for 94 minutes. They gave up one shot that whole time, and then all hell breaks loose there at the end. And see, it's not just, there's 2 big decisions from this game for me. It's not just that missed throw-in. It's that Alejandro Bedoya scored the goal, and he should not have even been on the field for a studs-up tackle instantly after coming on. He came on at halftime, and 2 minutes later got a yellow card, but it should have been a red card for studs right into the back of Remy Voltaire. He was down for several minutes. Inexplicable.
Totally agree. That ref did not call a lot of things last night. To me, it was very just confusing on how some of that was called. And I'm not even it wasn't biased. It wasn't like one way or anything, but I'd see guys like two-hand push somebody and nothing, and then see somebody else two-hand push and it'd be immediate foul. I'm like, why is there not a consistency here?
I want to talk about Vermes and what he had to say after the game, but on the note of just general refereeing from this game and not understanding a multitude of decisions or what they were doing all night, Johnny had a really good comment, or maybe lack thereof comment, on the refs after the game.
No, I was told I wasn't allowed to speak to the referee. Went up to ask him a question, asked him calmly. I said, "Can I speak to you?" He said, "No." I said, "As a captain, I'm allowed to speak to you." And he said, "No, you're not." And he told Fonte that he checked it, which he clearly didn't. So I wasn't given an explanation. I was dismissed really when I was trying to talk to him. So I don't know what you're supposed to do. I was trying to talk to the guy, same as last week. They just refused to talk to you. So I'm not going to say too much. I know how sensitive the subject is right now. So I'd rather keep my money for my kids than get it taken off me by the league, to be honest.
The refs dismissed him.
They did, and then he's going to keep his money for his kids and not give it to the league.
Smart man.
Yep. And we clarified that was during the game, not after the game. So he wasn't even being allowed to talk to the head ref during the game.
And was he talking, pardon my ignorance, about the tackle that Bedoya made?
That wasn't specific.
He said about a check. So is that the check he was talking about?
I think so, but I'm not sure. It was you know how it is sometimes in there is trying to get clarification is a little bit confusing with how sad or ticked some of the guys are. And, Johnny was trying to hold his comments to a certain extent.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 2 of the last 3 games.
2 of the last 3.
Really questionable. Questionable is not even the right word. Objectively wrong decisions have changed the result for Sporting Kansas City.
And for anybody who's trying to do the math like Cody was before the pod, the 2 of the 3 games was this last game and then the last game of last season in Houston when there would have been
the nonsense VAR call.
Yeah.
That we got to watch them make the call wrong. It's just insane. That was surreal to watch happen.
Interestingly, do you know who was in the VAR for last night's game? Who the VAR was?
No.
Bob Barkey. I believe he's like one of those rules experts that they
call
into
soccer. Oh, is that why
soccer.
I know that name? Yeah, on TV when they're like, "Oh, what do you think of this, Bob Barkey?"
Yeah, can Bob Barkey down in the catacombs tell us what went wrong with that play?
And he just defends the referee's decision, basically.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything against what he says on that stuff. But I assume he knows more than I do.
Well, after all of these struggles, it seems like in the locker room before everyone talked to media, there was maybe a warning, like, be careful what you say. And that's why Johnny was on that, kind of defensive of maybe saying something he shouldn't. And Vermes was a little touchy, too, in the press conference. Did not like a line of questioning from Sperry that I thought was pretty fair. But the reason I say this, I think maybe someone mentioned this about, hey, nobody get fined, is because I think that's maybe where some of this defensiveness came from Peter.
I do have a problem with the fact that the time went as long as it did, based on the fact that nothing happened in the game in that 4 minutes. Like, it wasn't like there was a VAR check or a major injury. It's 4 minutes, it's done, it's over. That's why you get 4 minutes. To go all the way to almost 5 minutes, it makes no sense.
Do you think,
and the ball's out of bounds by, I can say it again, by their number 7, and it's our ball again.
So do you think that play that mistake isn't down to the fact that it is replacement referees? No, I don't. Do you see last year at the end of the year when we played Houston, we had referees there, and there was 2 handballs in that game, and neither of them got called. One should have been a red card. They didn't get called. No. Just in general, is the disappointment then in the following the fact that the team didn't close down any of those opportunities? You said you guys.
No, the team did. The team. I mean, at some point something goes. I mean, listen. If the game went 20 minutes, would you then expect me to try to defend every single minute thereafter? I'm not defending all the minutes. I'm defending the 4 minutes that were supposed to be on the board. That's what I'm defending. and the fact that their guy hit the ball out of bounds. I'm not sure what else you're trying to bait me to get to, but it's starting to piss me off because where you're going is the wrong way. I just said the replacement referees have nothing to do with it. The referees are the referees. I said I watched almost all these games in the league that have been transpired so far, and the referees have all done a really good job. That's not the fact. And I also told you last year at Pro, those guys were refereeing the game in the playoffs, and those guys made 2 mistakes in the game, or 2 penalty kicks that should have happened in that game, which we should have been in the final. Okay? I don't know what else you want me to say.
So he says he's trying to bait him into something, and he's really pissing him off. Yeah, Sperry just really got used as kind of a punching bag there.
Yeah, that's happened before for various different people. The question before that was about the replacement refs. So Sperry did kind of ask 2 questions about replacement refs in a row, and I think that started to irritate him because, like, I'm sure they don't want to get fined, and I'm sure the message from MLS is don't blame the replacement refs. I don't know if it was just something right before that, but I'm sure that they have been suggested they don't blame the replacement refs.
So,
do you blame the replacement refs?
No, I disagree with Peter on the time issue. Because I went home last night, first thing I did was turn on the TV and watch it. This morning, right before I left for here, I watched it again.
Yes, Peter, if the game goes an extra 20 minutes, yes, we're going to ask you to defend the whole time. It's not going to be fair, but yes, we are going to ask you to defend until the final whistle.
All right, if you want me to, I will break it down what happened here in extra time. So, at 90-16, Johnny is fouled. Okay, it's 20 seconds until the ball was put back into play again after that. And then...
Oh, this is a serious breakdown.
And then Gazdag had a call for a possible penalty on the box when he was touched. That didn't happen.
Weak. Okay. It would have been so soft.
It would have been. Agreed. Okay, and then you have the... so Johnny made the tackle that he shouldn't have made. Stupid foul. Gave them the free kick.
Yeah.
Okay, and the ball, if you remember, was moved. So the referee had to come back, spray his line, put the ball back. That itself took 1 minute and 6 minutes from the time that Johnny was called for the foul to the actual ball being put back into play. That itself was 1 minute and 6 minutes. The Union player did.
Okay, you don't get extra time for having screwed it up.
I'm just saying that no matter how you look at it as a referee, there was more than a minute easily that could have been added in that situation. And the goal occurred before the 94th, the 4 minutes was over anyway.
No, 4 minutes was up, not
right.
5 minutes
not
was
5
up.
minutes.
Right.
It was
but
just
it
before
occurred
the
within
5th minute ending.
Less than a minute after the 4 minutes. And there was plenty of time that could have been added because of these things that I just ran down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to play the other side if you two are on one side. Typically in stoppage time, they don't keep adding a whole bunch unless there is a VAR or a long injury. So typically they don't add that much time, and the Union wasting time by moving the ball themselves, that doesn't add time because that's you doing it, not the general play. So
I'm just saying that there was time there that could have been allotted.
Again, going by how referees normally ref games, I wouldn't count that because normally they get the 94 if they add 4, unless there's something keeping the play going, which there was at least a little bit. Yeah. And again, I don't blame them for letting them have the corner kick, because typically corner kicks are allowed, and even if you're over. But there was, I think, a stoppage before that, so that probably should have been when it was stopped.
It's so frustrating. I don't even know where to land on this. We've got David is the fan in our Slack that is emotional and angry at this. I have friends that were, text me, we suck and all of that. I get it. It was a punch in the face the way this happened. I'm mad that they couldn't defend for one more play. I'm mad that Timmy didn't punch the ball out harder. But what the heck, man? This seems so different than last year. I don't see a reason to worry about this other than the Pulido's maybe not scoring. The defense has looked good. Well, we can talk more about that. But I don't want to be the guy that's blaming the referees. But what the heck? This is a simple call. As a 13-year-old referee, I could have called this one correctly.
And literally everybody who could see that play saw it correctly.
Oh, that whole half the stadium. Oh my God! When the crowd reacts like that,
the AR wasn't even looking that direction because he was looking at the line, so he was trying to stay with the offside.
It's about 15 yards away too.
Yeah, but again, a good AR can see both of those because they have good depth perception and peripheral vision. Not depth perception, peripheral vision. They can see those kind of things. The center ref seemed to be kind of looking that direction, but obviously didn't see it.
There were
It was-
bodies in his way.
Yeah.
His defense.
Somebody showed a video of everyone in the frame. Everyone starts walking the direction for Sporting KC. Everyone in the frame knows exactly what happened, including the thousands of fans behind them, except for the 2 people wearing yellow. And this happened multiple times in the game where on that side of the field, that assistant referee, the ball went out of bounds, and I look at them both. I'm looking to see one of them make a move, and neither of them do. And that center referee just slowly puts his hand up, not very confidently at all. This happened multiple times that game, and it's not someone just complaining about the refs. This was nonsense, and this shit was taken from them.
As somebody who's down on the field level and close to the action, shooting the game, I often see calls go the opposite of what I think they should. And because I have a different angle on it, I'm pretty close to it. We got a call last night that I'm pretty sure should not have been a Sporting corner. But I will say these guys were above the norm in wrong. I mean, I've seen games where one AR is just terrible or having a bad day or something like that. But it's just like overall, it seems like if you flipped a coin, you would have got it far more accurate than what these guys did last night.
Well, they did make an accurate call on the foul on the Philly goal that was scored in a 42nd minute. They called a foul on Philadelphia, called that one back, no goal. So they did make some good calls.
Oh,
And,
there was another one that I didn't understand. Rosero was like in the attacking end for some reason. I don't even know why he was down there. Yeah. Oh yeah, actually no, he just made a really good. He stepped up and intercepted, and then went on a run. Found himself in the box. The ball went up. He went up for a header. His hands were literally not even up. His hands were down at his side, and he got called for a foul. There's no argument that you could call that a foul on him.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw him up there too, because I was like, did they put Vargas in and I missed it? Nope, that's Rosero. Cool.
Yeah, he was up there. Not a good game.
The offside goal that was called back early in the match, it was tight, man. It was tight, but I think it was very slightly offside.
Yeah,
so
I think he was.
Yeah, no, in the video I saw that was right.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to take this angle because I have to. I'm in banking, right? So if you get your paycheck and you spend it willy-nilly and whatever you want to, and you put your account down to under $100, and you keep doing this repeatedly, you open yourself up to life screwing you.
With an
you get in
overdraw,
a
you're
car
saying?
accident. You have to pay that bill, but you don't have it because you already spent your money because you don't have good financial habits. Well, Sporting, what was their XG in this game? 1, which is pretty gracious.
More
I
than
would
last
say.
game, wasn't it?
Right.
I
But
saw
they
0.8
had
on one of them. But yeah.
they have to score that second goal, and they didn't. That's just a fact. And you leave yourself open to things like this happening when you don't take care of business. You've got to do that.
Didn't have a ton of great opportunities other than the one they
Well,
scored.
that's a problem, isn't it?
It is. I'm not arguing that. How many good chances did Philly have until they scored?
We're not talking about that. We're talking about Sporting not taking advantage of or doing what they need to do for themselves.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a little bit fair here. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, it is early in the season. They're not completely 100% sharp, and you can argue they should be or shouldn't be or whatever. But
They played against the second line of Philadelphia the whole first half, right?
not everybody.
Right. Not everybody.
Philly's a good team. Philly's been,
They are.
in finals and stuff in the recent years. They're a very good team. But when you're in a game, a sport that is razor thin, I mean, it is, because it's one bad call that changes entire games.
Right.
Whether
If
it's
they
a
scored
win
a second
or
goal,
loss.
we're not talking about any of this.
Well, we are, but in a much more fun manner.
Right.
But it's a razor thin game, and just one mistake on a single player, just missing a guy, not tackling something, whatever.
Leaves yourself open to referee mistakes.
But I mean, this sport is very razor thin. It's usually not a 5-1.
Of all sports, probably the most razor thin.
Yeah, and that's where I'm trying to get to. Like, if you're a great baseball team, you probably win 5-1. If you're a great basketball team, you probably win 97-87 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
NFL team, it's 35-20.
Robert, I'm with you. You're obviously exactly correct. Put away your chances. Don't put yourself in this position and all of that. But I saw this take online last night, and you can see why that's dumb. Just the idea that, Sporting Kansas City simply should have scored 4 more goals so that the referees don't blow the game.
Only
for
takes
them.
one.
Like you get for sure you're exactly right, and they should do better. They should have done better after that happened. They should have scored before it happened. But this game in particular, just how blatantly bad that call was.
And just going back to the Houston game, they created 2 opportunities that they should have had penalties or opportunities on goal that the refs screwed up. So even if you create that many more opportunities, they can still screw you. But again, play better, and it doesn't happen. But you can't always give that as the answer when it's a parity league. Teams are that close.
Parody or parody?
Right.
A bit of both.
And how do you spell each of those? No.
Spell check.
But I think, is all the undercurrent here, we're thinking, oh, God, we're going to go back and we're going to only get 3 points out of 10 games, 3 goals, Is that an undercurrent here for us?
I think people will have that fear, and I think they will have that until it doesn't happen that way. Because if you remember the first 4 games last year, they didn't. It took 3 games, I think, to get a goal, but they got 2 draws out of the first 3 games. Well, we're 2 draws into 2 games, and going on the road to a tough place to play, it could be in exactly the same spot they were last year.
We just need to snow in LA apparently because they're not good in the snow.
Let's talk about something positive. Defense. 2 strong games from the defense. I think it looks better than I was expecting to see.
Why? Why does it look better? I mean, what did you expect to see?
I don't know. Philadelphia is a good team, and Houston is a very sneaky team. And if I ignore the atrocity of the goal last night, then this defense has only given up 1 goal in 2 games.
I mean, Rosero, he's better on the ball than he was last year.
Yeah,
he had a nice
First of
move
all.
around they had 2 attackers pressing him. He made a little move left and split him, almost vintage Johnny Russell-esque if he was a defender and
the
very
crowd
tall.
liked that one.
And Fontes is playing very well. The danger there, of course, is his age, and he's going to drop off at some point, and he's not going to be as strong as he is right now. But he's playing very well. Jake had a good game last night, a lot of interventions. Leibold was pretty nominal. But, they're doing well in the back line for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're doing kind of what I expected. They're going to have a mistake or 2 that's going to cost them, but they're doing all right.
I'm positive right now because it seems like the defense is fairly solid. Radoya and Voltaire.
Radia.
Oh, yeah, I said that. Yeah, Radia.
Just go with the Manya. It's easier.
That part of the midfield looks solid. It's just the front 4 that are maybe the question at the moment. And the attacking core at the start of the season is what I would have not been worried about. So I'm positive because it's like the other parts of the field look fine, and the part of the field that I think is going to be fine and we'll figure it out is the one that's been struggling so far.
And at the beginning of last season, they were pretty good defensively and terrible offensively. I mean, I'm not really thinking that this is the same as last season, but if you were a pessimist, this is a road you could go down very, very easily.
Well, I'm going to push back
Except
on you.
Pulido is on the field now.
Is he? Is he really?
Well, Cody, I'm going to push back on you a little bit. There wasn't a whole lot of midfield defense happening last night because it was often get through that midfield pretty quickly, and then you're testing the back line, and each back line stood up well for each club. So I don't know how good the middle defense for Sporting was last night.
I need to watch the game again from on the TV view because again, watching it from where I'm at, I don't get to see everything the way I want to be able to see it, and I haven't had a chance to watch the full game. But I had the feeling last night, the impression that Nemanja was doing okay, shading a certain amount of stuff.
Yes.
Not being great. I'm not going to say that, but Robert's disagreeing with me, which is fine.
I'm disagreeing. I'm agreeing that you're right. He wasn't great in other things.
He sees the game so well. He has such a good vision and instinct. I just maybe he himself doesn't always have the quality or whatever,
I don't know. I think that may have been a team that he wasn't going to be his best at. But again, I thought he was good at shading the play to one side, but I have to see it from the other angle, and I admit that.
I was just kind of giving credit for the goal. Like Midfield scored a goal. It can't be doing that bad, right? That was really just where I was going. But yeah, you're not wrong about that.
So far they're outscoring the offense 2-0.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of counting on Tommy, but I'll explain that later.
Later?
Yeah.
Oh, you were counting on Tommy.
As Cody checks the rundown
Oh,
later.
see, well, no, yeah, that sucks because I was figuring out the transition to talk about fantasy and not registering that you were trying to do the exact same thing at the exact same time.
So is it time to talk
So
fantasy?
you had Tommy on your fantasy team.
I did. I felt like he had that goal last week. It was a really good run, the good goal, and I thought maybe, this would be an opportunity that he could exploit a team that was going to be resting some players, and I was very wrong.
Nah, did not have a good game.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at fantasy, though.
Well, I'm not great at fantasy soccer.
It had just been a couple years, and I guess I just forgot all the rules. I was not picking teams properly. That first week, I didn't. You should have just picked everyone on the teams that played twice. Like, that was all you had to do. And I didn't really understand that. I was kind of picking players that I thought it's like a stock market thing. Like, it'd be good for the whole season. You don't want to make a lot of moves, but making a lot of moves.
Wait for a guy to go up in value and then
Right.
maybe trade to somebody else who you think is going to change.
Yeah, see, I was not thinking about this properly. Also, both weeks I've had Reynoso on my roster. Thad sent a reminder to fix this, like right before the games were starting, and
I did.
Minnesota, of course, played first.
I
so-
spent like 20 minutes like fixing my roster, and I said, okay, now I'll
venues.
warn other people. Yes. So I gave you precisely 9 minutes. I think was. There wasn't any strategy there, but again, my roster wasn't very well fixed with how I ended up doing. Although I mean, I just got more points than I did the first week because again, I really didn't look at the rules. I just went with players I thought were better than their value because I was kind of thinking like you. When I've played other fantasy sports, they were keeper leagues, and you're always looking for players of value over long term, not like week to week. So yeah, I screwed up. Should read the rules. So should the refs.
The number one team in the Kansas City Soccer Journal MLS Fantasy League is Agata Voltaire Myrazeros.
Do we know who that is?
No, I don't know what it means, but I kind of like it.
What's your name?
Logan is my Ndenbe. We have a Nashville. I don't like. You have to pick a favorite team, and our league is filled with a bunch of fans of other teams. There's a Nashville fan is in second place, a Miami fan in third. We can't have this.
Well, then
How many teams are there?
One of the names is Mesmerized, though. That's pretty good.
So, Cody, if you don't want some of those players that have favorite teams that are not Sporting to be doing well, then I will tell you the same thing Robert tells Sporting: play better.
Well, that's what we need to tell everyone else in this league, except Agata Voltaire Myrazeros, who's keeping us all in it with the top score at the moment. Stinky Pigs FC is a Seattle fan.
That fits.
Radoyas Destroyas. I like that. Well done. I hope that's a listener, so he can hear that I like that. Johans Quase. That's a good one.
How do you do this week, man? Because he was like 4 goals in 4
Yeah,
games.
did he end his
The
streak?
rain's down in a free fa. Okay.
Wait, really? That was one of them? Oh, that's great. Yeah, this is fun. It's helping me learn all the players. I was more interested in MLS 360 because of fantasy. I'm having fun. I'm just not very good at it.
That's why I gave up on a lot of fantasy sports, is because it made me care about people and want them to do well that I don't.
Cody, that could be like a life tag. I'm having fun, but I'm not very good at this life thing.
Put that on my tombstone, baby.
I plan on it.
Last night was not all doom and gloom. The Comets, or should I say the attack in the throwback jerseys on the blue turf. Reggett got an OT winner.
Who?
Reggett. Zach Reggett. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I would go with Reggett or Zach. I don't know what the hell you did.
Zach Reggett, man. He is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, he only got 1 goal, but it was the overtime winner. But the downside is, man, they gave up points because they went to overtime. So
Oh, okay. So you just kind of taught me something there about the point system of the league.
Yeah.
That
You
I
ever,
did
you
not
ever
know.
watch hockey? Like, if you go to overtime, you can get the extra bonus point. So both teams get one. Whoever wins in overtime gets the extra one. So that's what happened. So
It's like the USL.
yeah. So if they got instead of getting 3, they got 2, and St. Louis got 1.
Well, you say that, but they're the ones that forced overtime, right? They scored with like 2 seconds on the clock, right?
Yeah, but at one point they were winning like
Oh.
4-1, 5-2. So they gave up a few goals to get it to where they had to score right before the end of regulation, like literally like 3 seconds or 5 seconds before regulation ended.
Can you tell me why this was like seemingly a big game for them? That it was a sellout crowd? Is it just because people they were like giving away something with the attack jerseys?
Well, the retro games are always big for them.
Oh.
The attack stuff, they auction off those jerseys. So I mean, you'll see fans wearing those next week or next game. Home game.
That's really cool. And good for them. That was Sporting KC home opener, and they had a sellout.
Yeah. So
Same night.
both places had sellouts.
Soccer capital of America, baby.
Yeah.
One final thought from this weekend. That new blue color that they have introduced this year, that lighter shade of the indigo blue, I am absolutely obsessed with it. I didn't know that until we got to media day and I saw that jersey up close. I knew that there was a different blue in there, but I didn't know which the original indigo was. And so I guess the diamonds on the jersey, that's the original darker indigo blue. And the rest of that blue on the jersey and on the shorts and on the jackets they're all wearing. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. It makes the light blue look so much better.
That jacket is sweet.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I was walking on Frifa and Vargas over to our interview on Media Day, right? And I said, hey, you guys give me one of those jackets? And Frifa goes, well, I've got the second one. I've got another one. Patrick goes, that's for you.
Do
Steven."
not steal a Frifa's jacket, Robert. How dare you? Go ask Pulido. Pulido doesn't need a second one.
He started like saying he was going to offer. If he was going to give it to me, I was going to take it.
Pretty sure that's a
Patrick's like,
violation.
"That's
Youth
for you,
player is
Steven."
not one that you steal a jacket from. Pulido doesn't need a 75th jacket in his closet. That's who you can get it from.
Man, I don't know, but just seeing people walk around in those jackets, I thought they were pretty cool and they look
sweet.
good. That's probably the one I've wanted the most in I don't know how many years. That's like we always say like we got to see the kits in person. Last night was the first time we really got to see it in action. I mean, we saw it on racks and fan stuff and all that, but seeing it in action, I liked it. The color I like, so yeah.
Yeah, they have that jacket every year. They release a jacket like that every year. And I got it a few years ago, I think when they had the white jersey. And it is a white jacket. It is still my favorite jacket, but it is white and
I was gonna say, is it still white?
white? Well, and it's even worse because it's one where it has like thumb hoops, so it goes up on my wrist, so that just gets insanely dirty on where your hands go. But so it is about time for a new one. The bags they gave us at Media Day are that blue color.
Yes.
The swag they gave us, they got that sweatshirt we got a hat, we got socks, the bag, best swag we've ever got at Media Day.
Well, some people would argue that the whiskey was, but
Yeah, okay. It was whiskey and like that was it though.
I mean,
I don't like whiskey.
that only lasts you like a day.
Oh my.
I did talk to Chad from KC, designer Chad.
Yes.
The man of many names he is. He said that blue is, just for this jersey, they don't have like a larger plan at the moment to implement this blue. So I'm going to have to go get a jacket. I'm going to have to buy something with this color of blue because we only got 2 years to get it in.
Yeah, I like that color, so I'm good with it. In retrospect, now that you've seen the kit, seen it full thing in action, all that, how do you rate that compared to previous?
I like it a lot. The exact execution of the diamonds as Argyle is maybe not like perfect or exactly what I want, but the way this blue and the light blue are coming together, the way they looked on the field, man, once they start scoring goals, I'm gonna be all about this.
When we do get a chance to when we do get a chance to talk to Chad and those guys, I do want to try to find out, like, because some of the colors don't quite match up the way I'd expect it to.
If we talk to them.
When?
Okay. Progress.
Yeah, this is something I was going to talk to you about after the pod. It was about getting that arranged again.
Okay, well, I'm glad we're subjecting our listeners to this off-air conversation.
Well, that's kind of your fault.
Sporting!
The other side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.